Hey guys, my name is Monica and thank you for coming to my channel. Today I want to share my vegan story and how I found veganism. About 3 years ago, so in 2014, I was looking for a diet for weight loss. And I had just come from trying the paleo diet, which I did for 2 weeks, and I lost, maybe 10 pounds in those 2 weeks, which is a crazy amount of weight. If you're not familiar with the paleo diet, if I can remember correctly, it's where you eat basically only meat, fruits, and vegetables, almost like how back in the caveman times, how they would eat. And it also restricted certain other foods like corn because it's considered a grain, and green beans, and I can't remember why. So basically you couldn't have anything processed, you can't have bread or cheese or anything like that. And for me, I found that diet to be really restrictive. Even with the weight loss, I wasn't happy on it because I was essentially starving myself. I was not eating a lot. I would eat just like a really, really tiny bowl of salad with like a little bit of shredded deli meat in it, and I'd squeeze just like a little bit of lemon juice, and that's what I would have for lunch. So I was basically restricting my calories too much. I was really hungry and I just couldn't stick to it. Plus I missed bread and I missed processed food. So after the paleo diet, I went researching for another kind of diet, and I ended up finding veganism when I came across Freely the Banana Girl's channel. She had a video on weight loss or how to stay skinny or something along those lines. And I know a lot of people, vegans and non-vegans, can't stand Freely because they think she's a bully, but for me, honestly, I never found her offensive. Like, I was never offended by anything she said. I thought she was very truthful and blunt and to the point, and she didn't sugarcoat anything, and that was what I needed to hear for the message to get across for me. Basically, I tried a plant-based eating lifestyle at first because I wasn't aware of what was going on with the animals at this point. When I first came across Freely's channel, I watched one of her videos about eating like 30 bananas a day or something, and when I first saw it, I was like, that's crazy. I couldn't eat any of the same food all day, every day, and be satisfied. Like, I like variety. So I saw the video and I just dismissed it, and I was like, that's crazy, I'm not gonna do that. And I'd like to think I'm open-minded, but I guess even I wasn't at that point. So for the next 2 weeks, I kept thinking about that video. It just registered with me. I'm like, well, why is it crazy? Why don't we eat more fruit? I know this isn't something that's common that I've heard anybody else trying, where they're eating, a bunch of the same fruit in one day, or even a mono meal of like 10 bananas in one sitting. So I wanted to challenge myself, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see how I feel. I just dove into it. I started making smoothies, and I didn't do like the whole banana island or mango island where I was just eating one fruit for like a month, but I would try mono meals. After about the 3rd day, I was sitting and I was drinking a smoothie, and I was thinking, you know what, I feel amazing right now. Why do so many people hate on veganism? Like, I'm a strong believer in don't knock it until you try it. So I kind of developed from like a raw till 4 style. I was following Freely, and then I went into like a full vegan junk food binge for like the last couple of years. So I was eating basically the same way I ate before because there's so many vegan mock meats. I mean, I could have spaghetti and meatballs, pizza, fries, burgers, cake, ice cream, anything they have that's non-vegan, you name it, they have it, a vegan version, and it either tastes just as good or even better. Some taste like vegan cheeses and vegan desserts I had to kind of get an acquired taste for, also with like soy milk and almond milk, but now I don't even know if I'd remember what regular milk tastes like anymore. Because for me, it's almond milk or soy milk, or I tried cashew milk and that was really good. So when I first tried going plant-based, I fell off the wagon for a bit. We were about to go on a trip to Europe, and we're going to be there for 2 weeks. We went to Portugal, Rome, Paris, and London, and I I had not educated myself enough to know the ins and outs of how to eat. Like, I knew the basics, like don't eat pork, chicken, fish, beef, eggs, anything that was from an animal. But I wasn't experienced or educated in how to substitute or how to omit or how to even look for vegan restaurants. This is before I knew about Happy Cow. So I fell off the wagon and I ended up eating mostly vegetarian, but I did have some meat. And every time I did, I felt terrible about it. This is before I knew about animal cruelty, but I felt terrible inside. Like, I didn't feel as good when I would eat meat. So after kind of going back and forth, and it wasn't because I missed eating meat or cheese or anything like that. It was for convenience. If I was traveling, I didn't quite know what to do. Now I have it down to a T. Like, I know what to look for, what to ask at a restaurant to make sure everything is vegan. And I know how to research, and I know about Happy Cow, so it's extremely easy right now at this point in time for me to be able to travel just about anywhere and figure out how to eat vegan. If I can't find it at a restaurant, I kind of know some hacks or tricks to make very simple basic vegan food in a hotel room, even if I don't have like a kitchen. So again, the first reason I tried being a vegan was for weight loss. I didn't end up losing any weight. I've pretty much maintained the same weight for the last 3 years. I decided that I wanted to stay because I felt healthier. I just felt like a better version of myself, not only physically, but mentally. I just felt happier. Sometimes I just feel happy for no reason, just because, you know, I was nourishing my body. I guess I didn't realize what you put in your body, how it affects how you feel mentally and emotionally, because, you know, I'm getting all those hormones from the dairy and the meat out of my system and the antibiotics, so feeling good. So again, to recap, first reason was for weight loss, even though I didn't lose any weight. Second reason was for health. I knew I didn't want to go back because I love the way I feel. And then the third reason became because I didn't realize how farming animals was destroying the planet. I joined a sustainability program when I was about 16 years old, and I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know what the word was. I just knew that, you know, I was homeschooled at the time. I had just moved to New Mexico and I was lonely. I wanted to meet people. I didn't know how. So I ended up getting a job at a fair trade coffee place, and the owners also had the sustainability program. So I decided to join so I could meet people, and it ended up being so much more than that. It actually was the reason I chose my degree. I actually have a bachelor's degree in business with a concentration in sustainable enterprise management. Because after I found out how, you know, the earth was being destroyed, I got really passionate about it, and I wanted to find a career in it, even though I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. I just knew I wanted to help. One of the biggest aspect of my personality, and I figured this out in college, was if I could have any job, it would have to involve one of three things. Either I'm helping people, or I'm helping the environment, or I'm helping animals, because that's what I'm passionate about, is helping. When I found out that we were dedicating so much of our natural resources, such as, you know, land and all the water, so much water, and a lot of grains like corn and soy that could feed other people who are starving for these animals so we could raise them and feed them to people. I was just like, that's crazy. Like, why? We don't need that. So after I found that out, I was like, okay, not only am I vegan for, you know, my health now, I'm definitely vegan for the environment. It just basically encompasses my personality. It feels like I was just always meant to be vegan, and I was actually really upset that I didn't figure this out sooner. I had wished that I had a friend or a family member or somebody who was vegan and could have taught me this a lot earlier, but, you know, better late than never. And when we come to this lifestyle, it doesn't matter how old you are, just as long as you find it, that's the important part. And so the last reason became for the animals. I didn't know, I mean, we all kind of know what happens to an animal before we consume them, but we don't really think about it, and it's in our society and our culture to just not think about it. You just see this slab of flesh on your plate, and like we accept that. We're like, okay, this is what we do. So before I found veganism, about a few months before, I started thinking about what I was eating. So like if I was having a burger, I was thinking about a cow. Like I would literally picture a cow in my head. And I would eat it and I would get grossed out and I would think, why am I eating this? Why am I eating a cow? Like this doesn't seem to make any sense to me. And this is something I had been doing for 24 years and I had never questioned it. And I didn't see any documentaries or anything. I just questioned it. Like, why am I eating this? And I would try not to think about it because I wanted to feel normal. I wanted to fit in with society and do what everybody else was doing. I didn't want to be weird or different. So there were certain things that I wouldn't eat before I became vegan, and that was fish, lobster, any kind of sea creatures. I grew up in Florida and, I would swim with fish as a kid and I connected with them. So we have fish as pets a lot of time. So I didn't really understand why people ate fish. Not only that, but fish and lobster look like they did when they died or when they were alive, I guess I should say. Like they're just on your plate and you just see this. It's just not appealing to me. I'm like, oh, I can't dig into something that looks like it was just alive. But with like chicken and pork and beef, they're all cut up and they're just made to look different than, an actual pig or cow or chicken. So I didn't think about it as much. But fish, lobster, all that stuff, just crab, it just really bothered me and I could never eat it. And people were always like, oh, Monica, you're from Florida. You had the freshest seafood. Like, why didn't you eat it? And even just going by those places, the smell alone was like unappealing to me. I'm like, I don't understand. I just don't get it. So of course, after watching a couple documentaries and some just video clips that I found on YouTube of slaughterhouses and animals being tortured and abused and shocked and throat slit, that sealed it for me. I was like, there's absolutely no way in hell I could ever go back to eating meat. And not just meat. I went to a dairy farm once when I was a kid and I saw all the blood and the pus that was in the milk before they pasteurize it or whatever they do to make it safe for human consumption. And that always stuck with me. When I was about 15, I was talking to an acquaintance, somebody I just met, and I think he must have been a vegan. He didn't mention it, but I was going to have cereal or something and he started almost like yelling at me about having milk. And his argument was milk is for baby cows, not for humans. And of course that makes sense now, but the way that he presented that message to me with like so much anger, that message didn't get through to me. If somebody's like angry and seems like they're hateful or aggressive, I tend to just, no, like I don't receive the message like that. I have to have it in a calm, rational way before I'll be like, yeah, maybe that does make sense. After that, I didn't think about it until, of course, years and years later when I became vegan. I was like, oh my goodness, these baby cows are being ripped away from their mother and they're being raped and impregnated so that I can have milk, which milk is not good for humans. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, well, I definitely don't want that. So I believe we're all lactose intolerant anyways because we're only supposed to have our mother's milk until a certain point when we stop. And milk for baby cows is so that they can grow like 3 or 4 times their birth weight. And a lot of people tell me, oh, you're vegan, that's cool. Like I couldn't do it because I love cheese too much. So then I got into the cheese research and how it has like addictive hormones because baby cows, when they drink it, those hormones help them to crave it and come back for more so that they can keep growing. And plus, when I would fall off the wagon in the beginning and I would have dairy, I would just feel phlegmy and I would feel gross and got off that real quick. And of course, now I know that eggs are hens' periods. I don't need to touch that either. I'm really losing the sun fast, so I'm just gonna move a little bit. So I understand why back in the old days, especially like the caveman days, you were hunters and gatherers, and you know, we ate meat to survive and we wore fur to stay warm. Like, I get that, but I think right now there's no better time to be vegan than right now. I mean, we literally have everything. We have amazing faux leather and faux fur and faux meats. So I'm really happy that I'm a vegan right now. So anyways, that's my story. If you have a vegan story and a video to it, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to go check it out. And give a thumbs up if you liked my story. And if you want to follow my vegan journey some more, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out. Alright, thank you guys. I love you. See you in the next video.